A warm good evening to everyone on this lovely Saturday, September 17, 2022. Today is a very important day for the two leading organizations of the world, Lions International and Rotary International, are observing this week, September 11 to 17, as joint service week. And we are very happy that a very young and dynamic Lions Club, the Lions Club of Coimbatore Superior Kings, and a very newly formed Rotary eClub, the Rotary eClub of Coimbatore Changemakers, are coming together to host this very important seminar on thalassemia. On behalf of the project chairperson of Rotary eClub of Coimbatore Changemakers, Rotary Banu Prada, and on behalf of President and Office Bearers of Lions Club of Coimbatore Superior Kings, I am very glad to welcome one and all of you. We will start the meeting with a silent prayer. Silence is always the best form of prayer. So let us observe 30 seconds silence before we start the meeting. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Coming together is a beginning. We have the coming together of the Lions Club of Coimbatore Superior Kings, as well as the Rotary Club of Coimbatore Changemakers. We are here for an awareness seminar, Tackling Thalassemia, which will be handled by Ms.Divya, a physician who has worked with a lot of patients in thalassemia and has an ocean of wisdom on this subject. To formally welcome one and all to this lovely meeting, may I kindly request the services of the very dynamic Charter President and Zonal Coordinator of the Lions Club of Coimbatore Superior Kings, Venkat Sir, to officially welcome the gathering. Venkat Sir.
Good evening, sir. It's a great pleasure to do a meeting with Rotary Club. And we welcome all our Rotary friends and Lions friends to this meeting. And kindly make this a short note of welcome address, and we will hand over to Divya Madam. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir, for a short but very sweet welcome address. Now, we have a very wonderful personality with us today for today's meeting from representing the Lions International. We have with us our Lions district leader here who will be addressing us. May I kindly request Venkat sir to introduce our leader, and may I kindly request you, sir, to bless us with your words of advice.
Sir, they are in a meeting, sir. They will shortly join late. இன்னைக்கு ஒரு சின்ன ப்ரோக்ராம் கமலஹாசன் கூட எல்லாரும் அந்த மீட்டிங்ல இருக்காங்க குனிமுத்தூர்ல. நம்ம கவர்னர் and all officials will be joined by 7:30, sir.
Oh, okay, sir. We will have that felicitation after the meeting. Thank you, sir. Thank you. I'm sorry for this. So once again, I would like to welcome you all. And before I hand over the proceedings to Divya Madam, it will be my honor to share a few words about her. Ms.Divya Thiagarajan started her career at SIMS Hospital, Vadapalani in the neurosurgery department. She has more than 3 years of experience in the field of hematology and oncology. She is currently working at the Institute of Child Health and Hospital for Children, Egmore, Chennai, which is the nodal center for blood and blood-related disorders of Tamil Nadu. She has presented a very acclaimed clinical research paper at TANCON, the state-level neurology conference. She has presented her research with IAPA 2021, and her clinical research paper was also presented at CCI Asia, an international conference, and her research was highly appreciated. She has completed NAPH POI certification for hospitals, and she has trained in CVAD insertion, PIC line, and management of the same. She was rewarded the Best Employee 2021 by the Department of pediatric hematology and oncology, ICH and HC. We are very, very happy and honored that Divya Madam has taken time off her busy schedule and has consented to deliver this awareness program about thalassemia. May we kindly request Divya Ma'am to take over, and it's once again on behalf of Lions and Rotary, we extend a warm welcome to you, ma'am. Thank you. We request you to take over.
Thank you so much for the lovely words. Good evening to one and all. May I share my screen now?
Yes, sure.
I'm unable to share my screen.
Ma'am, are you able to share screen now?
Yes, now I can. Sir. So, tackling thalassemia. Thalassemia is an inherited disorder. It's an inherited blood disorder which is being passed over to generations. So in this disorder, body makes abnormal shape and size of the hemoglobin. Hemoglobin is the protein in RBCs. Hemoglobin is the protein in RBCs that carries oxygen. The disorder results in large number of RBC being destroyed, which leads to anemia. Anemia, we commonly call it as ratta sogai. Tamilla ratta sogai nu solradhu anemia. There are various other causes of anemia also. So basically, a child presents with anemia, we keep ruling out various other conditions. So one cause could be thalassemia. Introduction. India has the largest number of children with thalassemia major in the world. So about 1 to 1.5 lakh and almost 42 million carriers of beta thalassemia trait are there in India. About 10,000 to 15,000 babies with thalassemia major are born every year in India. Thalassemia can be defined as an autosomal recessive genetic disorder which is resulting in inadequate production and normal production of hemoglobin. So in this image, we have the normal hemoglobin cells and the thalassemia infected hemoglobin cells. So the normal hemoglobin cells are usually concave in shape, whereas in thalassemia children, the hemoglobin shape and sizes are going to be different. So this is going to cause abnormal cell production and anemia in children. So thalassemia is broadly classified based on severity of the disease. Thalassemia major and thalassemia intermediate are severe types, whereas thalassemia minor and trait are minor types. Thalassemia major and the severe form of thalassemia intermediate constitute the major burden of disease, as management of both requires lifelong blood transfusions and iron chelations. So thalassemia intermediate, when the child requires multiple blood transfusions over a period of time, then they are being classified as thalassemia major. While thalassemia minor is the carrier state in which person is clinically normal and is commonly referred to as beta thalassemia trait. So these populations do not present with symptoms clinically, but they have the thalassemia trait gene in them. The thalassemia syndromes are caused by inheritance of abnormal thalassemia genes from both carrier parents or abnormal thalassemia genes from one parent and an abnormal variant of hemoglobin gene from the other parent. So who are the people getting affected? Persons carrying only one of these genes are called as carrier, as they do not suffer from any disease, but carry the abnormal gene and transmit it to the next generation. Carriers cannot be recognized clinically, but only by performing special investigations. So they do not present with any symptoms. So if their children is presenting with some symptoms, we usually screen the parents for thalassemia trait. Only then we will be able to identify the parents as carriers. Where both mother and father are carriers, there is a chance that their children may inherit the abnormal gene from both parents and thus suffer from a severe thalassemia syndrome. So this is the pedigree chart. So father and mother both are a carrier of the gene. They are not symptomatic. They are not thalassemia major. They are carrier genes. So there is a 25% chance of inheriting two normal genes, 50% of inheriting one altered gene and one normal gene. So the child can be a beta thalassemia trait. 25% chance of inheriting two altered genes. In this case, both the genes carry the mutation. So the child becomes thalassemia major. So why this becomes a social problem? Why is thalassemia to be treated as a social complication? It is the severity of the disease, which is autosomal recessive disorder manifested in children born to healthy carrier couples, that makes prevention and carrier detection an important public health issue. So prevention and control can be performed by carrying out awareness programs, educating and conducting screening programs in the community and schools, establishing laboratories for screening centers and hemoglobinopathies and newborn screening for thalassemia at district level, screening pregnant women and their husbands to prevent the birth of children affected with thalassemia major or sickle cell disease. So hemoglobinopathies are a wide group of diseases where thalassemia major is one part of them. Establishing prenatal diagnostic centers and medical colleges in the states wherever required. Treatment. Periodic blood transfusions once in 21 days and proper iron chelators due to over iron load is the transient treatment for thalassemia. The only cure available for these children with thalassemia major is bone marrow transplant, more appropriately called the hematopoietic stem cell transplant, that is HSCT. However, this can help only a very few population of people due to cost. It is highly expensive, paucity of BMT centers, or non-availability of a suitable HLA matched donor. So BMT centers are not available everywhere in Tamil Nadu, especially in garment sector. So doing a bone marrow transplant with a matched donor for one child in private sector hospital, it costs up to 25 lakhs. Therefore, the mainstay of treatment is a regimen of regular blood transfusions followed by adequately monitored iron chelation therapy to remove the excessive iron overload as a consequence of multiple blood transfusions. Thus, it is a transfusion-dependent disorder and places a great burden on healthcare services. So, requirements. What are things has to be developed in order to treat thalassemia children in a better way? Development of treatment centers with the help of state health departments, not just in major cities, but also in district level. Providing facilities for bone marrow transplant, facilitate establishment of donor registries and public cord blood banks in major cities to provide a source of HLA matched stem cells through convergence with other programs. The involvement of parent-patient organization has to be ensured for success of the goals, because since it's a long-term treatment management plan, the parents should also be enthusiastic to bring their children to the hospital in a periodic manner. Components of control program, WHO guidelines. A strong political will and support is required. Adequate finances for staffing, equipments and chemicals, for chemicals for performing investigations. Optimal treatment for those who are affected. Carrier screening, it is the key. Genetic counseling, premarital or post antenatal. Antenatal during is the pregnancy period. Prenatal diagnosis in couples where both the partners are carriers is very important. Awareness program in the community starting from the schools level, it's very important. So every children at the school itself can be screened. It's just a blood investigation. Monitoring of the program for a successful outcome. Genetic counseling and community education plays a very important role in successful implementation of any pet prevention program. So services and screening programs should be sensitive to cultural and social practices and also include religious beliefs. Awareness of ethical and legal issues is required to avoid misuse of legal provisions and to be culturally sensitive. The time between initiation of implementation and visibility of impact is affected by the group that is chosen for carrier screening. So that group can be adolescent, premarital, pre-conception or antenatal. Sustenance of the prevention programs for a long period of time may extend to decades, which is required to achieve expected outcomes, because screening programs and preventive measures cannot be done over 1 or 2 years of time. So it's very important that the entire program is sustainable and lasts for decades and decades to get the desired outcomes. Mass screening of people living near hilly regions. So the people who are living near the hilly regions are more prone for this particular disorder. So we call that as the thalassemia belt. The Institute of Child Health, it is the state nodal center for hemoglobinopathies. So we treat children who are affected by thalassemia, sickle cell anemia, and others. We have 255 thalassemia children registered in all at ICH alone. And patients come from different parts of Tamil Nadu for blood transfusions and routine follow-ups. So we have been diagnosing children and infants from 6 months of life if they are presenting to us with complaints of low blood levels, that is anemia, by HPLC investigations. So this is our hospital. So we conduct our OP between 8:30 to 11:30 a.m. On between Monday to Saturdays, and most national holidays are working for us. So we have at least 80 cases per day in our OPD, and we have an exclusive day care center for hemoglobinopathies. So this includes thalassemia and sickle cell anemia, where majority of them are thalassemia patients. So it's a 15-bedded center where patients can come in the morning, get a blood transfusion and get discharged on the same day. So this reduces the time of stay in the hospital for the patient and also the bed burden for the hospital. So conclusion, thalassemia is one of the major public health problems in India. To achieve success in their prevention and control, an ongoing holistic approach is required. It is expected that an optimal collaboration and support, effective prevention and control of thalassemia can be achieved. This will lead to a healthier, newer generation which enjoys a better overall quality of life. So as citizens, what we can do is we can conduct regular blood bank blood donation camps, because thalassemia is one disorder which is really blood consuming. So these children come to hospital, or these people come to hospital only for blood transfusions and requiring monthly transfusions. So getting donors and getting blood products is really difficult. So arranging blood donation camps and having blood registries is very, very important, and it is really helpful for children or people suffering from thalassemia nature. Thank you. I'm open for questions.
Thank you very much, Divya Madam, for that lovely presentation. I think all of us now have a basic and a clear idea about what thalassemia is. We'll open up to questions now. Audience, you can unmute yourself and you can ask your questions, or you can put it in the chat box. We will pass the question to Divya ma'am. Ma'am, let me ask the first question, ma'am. How many days we should give blood to these children regularly? It is they need blood regularly. That is their major problem. Can you tell us how many days they would need blood, and how we can arrange as Lions, as Rotary, how we can arrange blood donation camps for this children specifically?
So basically, these children, they don't have a cure until bone marrow transplantation is done. So for bone marrow transplantation, there are multiple criteria. So one major criteria for bone marrow transplant is we have to do a HLA typing. So HLA typing is a gene which is going to be matched along with this infected child or infected candidate. So usually the HLA type, HLA matched donor will be sibling or their parents. So this is the only option. In case if they are not able to identify a HLA matched donor, then blood transfusion is given monthly once, at least monthly once. So it is ideally blood transfusion is advised to 21 days once. So HP has to be maintained between 9 to 10. So 21 days once the patient has to come and get transfused. And because of multiple blood transfusions, there are other complications also. So there is going to be iron overload. So again, that has to be monitored periodically, and iron chelators have to be supported. So conducting blood donation camps, that anyone apart except for the relatives. Say if a 11-year-old boy is coming for blood transfusion, anyone apart from his father, mother, or distant relatives can donate blood. So not necessary the same blood group has to be donated. We can anyone can donate blood and blood products. So we can extract PRBC from that.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Ma'am, before we move on to the next question, how do you think Lions Club and Rotary Club can help solve this issue, ma'am? Can you give us any suggestions?
Definitely, sir. Since Lions and Rotary both have a great link of contacts, everyone they can collaborate together to conduct blood donation camps regularly, periodically, sir. Say at least once or twice a month, blood donation camp that could definitely help us in getting adequate blood products.
Thank you, ma'am. I think surely we two organizations will collaborate on this. The meeting is now open to questions. We would kindly request participants to ask your questions if you have any to Divya, ma'am.
Yeah, hi. Good evening, Divya. It was quite a detailed presentation on what is the disease is about and how the treatment is being carried currently. So since there is a lot of cost involved, I just wanted to understand if there is any alternate treatment available in terms of other paramedical services from homeopathy or from Ayurveda, something like that. Or is there any, will there be any improvement if we have a lifestyle change in terms of the food habits and which will have a better impact or have a less chance of future generation? Any ideas on that?
Yes, sir. Unfortunately, there is. I am not against Ayurveda or other alternative treatment methods, but there is no proper research papers or documentation that any Ayurvedic medications have cured thalassemia major. First thing. Second thing, thalassemia is basically an inherited disorder. It is not an acquired disorder. It's not an infection. So there is no transient cure, or there is no cure particularly for thalassemia major, or lifestyle modifications cannot change a person who has been affected with thalassemia. One thing which we can do to prevent thalassemia is screening. So basically, India is a place where people get usually have marriages between relations. So if both the population, both the mother as well as father have a thalassemia trait, so if we are able to screen and identify that they are a trait, we can avoid marriages between these couples. So this will avoid production of an thalassemia major child.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Hi, madam. This is Arvind here. I have a question that you said that the donor can we can get this I forgot the term. Donor, right? You said about donor, right? So what should be the age range for the donors?
Anyone above 18 years can donate, sir.
So how the process will work?
Blood donation is very simple. We put a IV cannula, just like how we administer drugs through the IV, no? Then IV cannulation. So we put an IV cannula, and there is a vacuum set from the IV cannulation pump. So blood is being acquired in a very slow process from your body. It's a very simple process, and it's usually not very painful.
You mean for the donor?
Yes. And that's not going to cause any problem for the donor. The only thing is the person who is willing to donate blood, their HP has to be maintained between at least 9 to 10.
Okay. So from first donation to the second donation, right? How much time
at
duration
least
should
4
be
months
there?
intervals.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Hi, ma'am. This is Banu here. Can you hear me, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am.
I have a clarification. Like you said, this is an inherited disease. And you said the parents could be screened. So can we identify it earlier, like the parents could get screened and then try to conceive a baby, or is there a procedure, or what is the screening methods that we could adopt to?
Ideally, everyone has to be screened for thalassemia. Everyone has to be screened for thalassemia because we all come from a thalassemia belt. So usually, people who are living living in hilly region are prone for thalassemia. So it's ideally all people who are living near hills or near mountain regions, they have to be screened for thalassemia. One thing, and people who are living in cities, we are all nomads from different places. So we are not, our real origin is not from Chennai or Coimbatore or anywhere. So it is ideally everyone has to be screened for thalassemia, madam. But especially who are living near hilly region, even now they are supposed to be screened for thalassemia. And people who are undergoing marriage between relations, so consanguineous parentage, then they should be definitely screened for thalassemia before they are planning for baby.
So it's like, what are the tests involved? I actually come from a hilly region, basically. I'm from Kodaikanal, so I thought I could just get to know what is the processes and how can we directly approach, or what is the procedure, ma'am? Should we get
It is a very simple
test?
It's a very simple investigation. You just undergo a CBC. CBC is the complete blood count test. So they just prick your get blood from your hand or from your vein, okay, and they do a CBC. So in CBC, if you are having anemia and the MCV levels are high, then you are suspected to have thalassemia. So with that, we go for an additional investigation called as HPLC. This is being done in most of the district hospitals, all government district hospitals. So HPLC is the definitive investigation for thalassemia. But both are simple blood investigations only. Both are not invasive investigations.
Okay, ma'am. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. If anybody of you have questions, you can unmute yourself and ask. I think we can take 3 to 4 more questions.
I think actually there is a few questions from audience in the chat box. Ms.Divya, please check that chat box also. I think from 1 or 2 questions in chat box. Please check it out. Thank you.
Thank you, Daraji. I'll do that. Thank you, Subramaniam sir. Subramaniam sir has also been supplementing the information given by Divya ma'am. Thank you very much, sir, for your active participation. We have a couple of questions in the chat box. A question from Bala Murali. Ma'am, how thalassemia is inherited from generation to generation? Is there any measure to stop its inheritance? This is a question from Bala Murali.
Yes, sir. So thalassemia is basically an inherited disorder. So one thing which can be done to prevent thalassemia is to avoid consanguineous marriages, that is getting married among relatives, and screening everyone before marriage is very important to avoid a thalassemia infected child. So a couple, in case if a female is affected by thalassemia trait and you identify by screening, it is better that the person who the female is getting married to, that person has to be a non-thalassemic, that person should not even have thalassemia trait, so that they do not get a thalassemia affected baby. That is the only thing that can be done to avoid thalassemia. There is no other preventive measure that can be taken to avoid or prevent thalassemia.
Thank you, ma'am. We have a question from Raj. He asks, what's the preferred iron chelating agent? How it's administered? Can you tell us about its frequency?
Yes, iron chelators, basically iron overload is tested by doing serum ferritin levels. So once the child or once a person is attaining 10 transfusions, we are suspecting an overload of iron. So at that point of time, we do serum ferritin levels. So this serum ferritin levels, if it is more than 3000, it is more than 2000, then we start on Defreserox. There is a drug called Defreserox. So that Defreserox is available in oral as well as orally as tablets, also as injections. So Defreserox is given per oral dose, usually OD dose.
Thank you, ma'am. Rotarian Aravind sir, Charter Secretary, has a question again. He says he's from Canada, very cold country. What is the chance of thalassemia prone kids in such cold countries?
There is no specific thing for cold countries, sir. So there is no worry. But anyway, it is good if they can screen.
Thank you, ma'am.
If the child is not having anemia, if the child is not having any complaints, if the child is not symptomatic, there is no necessity for screening anyway.
Thank you, ma'am. All the three the people who asked questions, they also thank you for your replies. We have an information from Subramaniam sir, albeit a very sad information. He says a 6-year-old kid passed away in Coimbatore last month due to thalassemia. I think that's a very sad thing to know. Subramaniam sir, if you could, can you just unmute yourself? And if you would like, would you like to share your experiences about thalassemia patients in Coimbatore? I think we lost Subramaniam sir. Thank you. Audience, do we have any other questions?
And sir, there is a message from Mr. Dadaji. You can ask for financial support to patients. Definitely, that is very important, and that's a very vital request, sir. So Lions Club or Rotary, both of them, they can always provide financial support because, as I told you, thalassemia is blood consuming, and also for a financially lacking family, the burden of the disease is going to fall not just on the patient, but also on the family. So traveling to the hospital once in 21 days is really difficult. In a private sector, in public sector hospital, blood transfusions are totally free of cost. But in private sector hospital, blood transfusion is one blood transfusion will at least cost 10 to 15,000. So providing financial support and the iron chelated drug, one drug is going to one particular tablet is going to cost at least 50 rupees to 55 rupees. So providing a good financial support will also improve the quality of care for these children, for these patients.
Sure, ma'am. I think the leaders of Lions and Rotary here will definitely sit together and will try to do what we can. I think we'll have one more question. We have Rajesh asking a question in the chat box. Does everyone affected by thalassemia require blood transfusion?
Only thalassemia major will require blood transfusion. Thalassemia trait, they usually don't require blood transfusion.
Thank you, ma'am. Ma'am, you said that the cost of transfusion is around 15,000. Is it covered by this? We have our health schemes like PM's insurance scheme and CMCX.
It is definitely covered by, sir.
Fine, ma'am. Thank you. I think we'll definitely stick together and we'll try to address this problem in Coimbatore at least, and then we can take it as a model that can be replicated statewide and nationally. Thank you. I think all of us would agree this was a very, very informative and useful session from Divya ma'am. We thank you, ma'am, for taking your time and giving us this wonderful lecture. We have a question from Lion Pragadishwar sir. Can we get a copy of this presentation? I think Divya ma'am can share with us. We'll definitely send a copy to you. Thank you, ma'am. Dadaji, would you like to say something?
No, no. You can carry on. Yeah.
Thank you. Before we go on for the closing ceremony, this meeting is arranged by the Lions Club of Coimbatore Superior Kings and Rotary Club of Coimbatore Changemakers. Both these clubs are just a year-old clubs. both of them were formed last year only. It will be an honor for us if Venkat sir or somebody from Coimbatore Superior Kings can give a small brief introduction about your club.
Yeah, our club treasurer Krishna will give you a small note about our club. Krishna, are you there? Krishna or Pragadishwar, if you are there, kindly give a brief note.
Yeah, thank you. So our club, Lions Club of Coimbatore Superior Kings, is relatively new, and we are a group of team, very young team compared to the other Lions Clubs. So attending seminars like this and awareness session on some genetic disorders, even though seem to be scary, but it is very important to know and to be aware of what's going on around. So I thank everyone, first of all, to understand, to give us this opportunity and to make us understand about what this disease is all about. And regarding our club, since this requires a lot of blood related blood transfusion and awareness related among all the people in our nation, so we would jointly plan a joint session on blood donation camps, and we would try to give us our contribution to the maximum possible. Thank you so much, Divya ma'am, for your wonderful presentation.
Thank you, Pragi. And once again, thank you, Ratanavel sir and Rotary Club of Coimbatore to give us a great opportunity. And thank you all who participate in this event and make this event a successful one. We all have a great alert about some disease and blood kind of diseases. So thank you all. If President Arun Kumar is available, can you please give me a small note?
Arun has joined another call.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Ratanavel sir, it's up to you. Thank you for your support.
Thank you, Venkat sir. I think we'll definitely look forward to work with Lions Club of Coimbatore Superior Kings. Your short form CSK is a very fond name that all of us would associate with. And thank you very much for joining with us. For the official vote of thanks on behalf of the Lions and Rotary Club, may I kindly invite the project chairperson, Rotarian Banu Prada, who's joining us all the way from Muscat to propose the official vote of thanks. Banu.
Thank you, sir. As we express our gratitude, we must never forget that the highest appreciation is not to utter words, but to live by them. Thank you is such a prayer that cannot be seen or touched. It must be felt by heart. I feel honored and privileged to get the opportunity to propose vote of thanks on this special occasion. I'd like to thank all the honorable delegates who blessed us with their virtual presence on behalf of organizing committee. I convey deep regards and hearty thanks to our chief guest, Ms.Divya Thiagarajan, Physician Assistant, ICH EGMO. I'm also thankful to the Rotary President, Mr. Vasudevan. I'd like to thank Lions Coimbatore Superior Kings, Lion Mr. Venkat, and Mr. Arun for organizing this awareness program on tackling thalassemia. My special thanks to Professor Pon Ratnavel for being the pillar of this event, and Rotary Club Changemakers. I extend my gratitude to Mr. Mohammed Dadaji for being the bridge between our club and Divya ma'am, and also for coordinating this meeting. We will ever remain grateful to Ms. Divya Thiagarajan for this informative session, Tackling Thalassemia. And we thank you for being with us today. I'm very much thankful to all the participants for this virtual meeting. I feel proud and thank you for making this event a successful one. I thank you all once again for the patience. Thank you.
Thank you, Banu. Before we officially close the meeting, as Subramaniam sir said, we lost a patient last week. We'll observe a minute of silence to all the souls that had braved thalassemia and all the souls that we have lost due to thalassemia. We'll observe just a minute silence before we close the meeting. Thank you, everyone. It was a wonderful meeting. Thank you all. The meeting is formally closed now. You are free to leave the meeting. Thank you. The meeting will be officially closed in a minute. Thank you.